So I'm sure you guys have been hearing about the old Empower, JOEBOY, Boy, and Bad Bunny issue concerning sample infringement, not claim of a Joe Boy sample before being used by Bad Bunny. So here is my review and the proper breakdown of the case and the issues for determination. So guys, my name is Jeanette Oduoye and I'm a music publisher, I'm a music lawyer, and here I talk about music law, entertainment law, the music business and music publishing. So now we're going to be going into the case of the Bad Bunny and Empower issue, how it all started. But before that, you need to understand the parties involved. So the parties involved is RIMAS Entertainment, Bad Bunny on one side. So I think RIMAS Entertainment is like the record label or the management company, and Joe Boy, Boy, Empower, and Lakizo Entertainment on the other side. So now let's go to the facts of the case. So basically, in 2021 or 2019, there has been so many conflicting reports on where that song was released and all that. So Joe Boy had this song called Empty My Pockets that was produced by Dera, was released in either 2020, 2021 or 2019. So according to reports, Joe Boy was signed to Empower in 2019. We'll just assume that Empower owns the masters to the Joe Boys Empty My Pocket. And meanwhile, there is another person who is also claiming right to the same Empty My Pocket. So fast forward to 2023, Bad Bunny released an album, and in one of the songs, they sampled the same Empty My Pocket, which contained Joe Boy's vocals and also the Dera Boys beats on his song, which is the subject matter of the copyright infringement. So Empower, acting as a owner of the right to the Empty My Pocket song, reached out to Rimas Entertainment and the Bad Bunny team and all that. And the Bad Bunny team claimed that, oh, this song you're claiming right to, we already got a license from someone claiming they are the master's right owner to the song called Lakizo Entertainment. So I really don't know the business or what kind of relationship Joe Boy had with Lakizo Entertainment as at then when the song, because I actually saw an artwork where it says Joe Boy and Lakizo Entertainment present Empty My Pocket. So it would also assume that for that to be there, Lakizo Entertainment also has rights to the masters of that song. And so there has been so many back and forth between Empower, the Bad Bunny team, Rimas Entertainment, and also a separate dispute between Empower and Lakizo Entertainment claiming they own the right to Empty My Pocket. After so many back and forth, there wasn't so much resolution coming out of it. So they filed an action in a federal high court in the United States. The interesting thing is that Dera Boy was the main plaintiff. He joined Empower as a co-plaintiff. So I'm actually not into litigation, but as at 7 years ago in 2028, 7 or 8 years ago in 2028, when I was doing my youth service, I served in a law firm, in a litigation law firm, so I still have some little knowledge about how litigation works. When you institute an action in court, you are referred to as a plaintiff, and if you join another person together to institute the action together, that person is a co-plaintiff. So what this case is saying is that Dera Boy instituted an action in court and joined Empower as they are both instituting that action in court. So Boy is a plaintiff, Empower is a co-plaintiff, and the defendant, of course, is Bad Bunny and Rimas Entertainment. Dera Boy had his own lawyers. Empower also had their own lawyer. So it is an action. Empower told the court that, oh, they used a sample to this rights we own, to the masters of this rights we own, and they didn't get permission from us and all that. The court was like, okay, fine, you own the rights, you claim you own the rights to the song. Can we get documents or evidence to show that yes, you actually own the right to the song? And it was crickets. They couldn't provide it, which I feel like could there are so many ways to claim ownership to a song, but that's just by the way. So I kept asking them to come and prove their claim in court, since they said the action in court in the first place, these are that, but there were so many missed deadlines. The court just dismissed the case. From my litigation knowledge from 8 years ago, when a case is thrown out of court, it's dismissed or struck out. If a case is struck out from court, that means the court is saying that, oh, just in layman's terms, court is saying that, oh, there are so many mistakes, or there are so many things you are not doing right. So I'm giving you the opportunity to go back and set your books right and come back and institute this action on a better claim. That's the case being struck out. But once the court or the judge rules that a case is dismissed, that means you cannot appeal, you cannot reinstitute, you cannot come back again to the court and say, oh, you want to file another action. You are barred from filing another action, especially in the US territory and the US jurisdiction. So in this case, the case was struck out. So Empower or Dera Boy or Joe Boy cannot institute another action on the same matter, which is like, will I call it a miscarriage of justice, but that's by the wayside. Now, Bad Bunny is saying that, oh, these people wasted our time. Their case lacked merit, which I do not agree with, because I feel like Empower and Joe Boy and Dera Boy had a very, very, very good case. They are saying that their case lacked merit, and they didn't go after Dera Boy, which is the main plaintiff, but they are going after Empower, who is a co-plaintiff, and said because Empower is the instigator and also the financer of the suit, they are not going after Dera Boy, they are going after Empower. And I'm like, like, I don't really know. Like, well, it's their decision, and they are saying that because they are the instigator, they are going to be asking for costs, legal costs to the tune of $456,000. Oh my god. So that's just basically the fact of the case, and I would advise you to also go online and do your research and also understand the case properly. So now I'm going to go into the issues for determination, because this actually reminds me of when I was in 300 level in University of Lagos. When they set exam for us, they give us the facts of the case and they will tell us to like bring out the issues for determination and talk about the issues of for determination. And now I feel like I'm in 200 300 level again. I had to like list them down so I don't forget. So the first one is, who owns the copyright to empty my pocket according to law? Under the Nigerian Copyright Act, the law already stipulates and says that the person who made the arrangements for the creation of the song, the masters of the composition, owns the copyright to the song. I don't know the facts of the case. I don't know the kind of relationship Joe Boy and Lakizo Entertainment had together, because Empower on one side is saying that Lakizo Entertainment is just a distributor and not just the owner of the masters. But if Lakizo Entertainment financed the creation of the Empty My Pocket, they paid for the recording time, they paid the producer, they paid for the artwork, they paid for recording studio, they did everything. They actually dropped the recording budget for the Empty My Pocket song. According to law, not sentiment, Lakizo Entertainment, even though they're acting like a distributor, own the masters. So that's why I feel like the artwork are the Lakizo Entertainment and Joe Boy, because Lakizo Entertainment is acting like main artist and also the financer of the masters. In my own opinion, I'm not saying this is what is really happening. So if Lakizo Entertainment can prove that they actually made the arrangement for the creation of the song, they just called Joe Boy to come, they called Dera Boy to come, okay, come and record this song. They own the masters to the song. I would like us to look at it the other way. The only other way where we can say Empower owns the masters to the Empty My Pockets song depends on the kind of agreement they signed with Joe Boy. Is it a management agreement? Is it a recorded deal agreement? Is it a publishing agreement? It depends on that kind of arrangement. So if it was a record deal agreement, the agreement ordinarily states that Empower will own the right to any master's recorded during the term of the agreement. So now, was this Empty My Pocket created during the term of the agreement, or how did Lakizo Entertainment come? Assuming if Lakizo Entertainment made the arrangement for the creation of the song, were they there before Joe West signed that agreement with Empower, or how was it? So this all depends on the fact of the case. This is the kind of thing that Lakizo Entertainment and Empower have to go to court for the court to decide all this is based on the merit of the case. Was it Lakiso that financed the Empty My Pocket song? Was it Empower that did that? Was the song created when Empower and Joe were signed? All these things are just based on the merit of the case and Empower side, Lakiso Entertainment side. So I think this number one, who owns the copyright to Empty My Pocket according to law, is settled. And if Joe was the one that financed the Empty My Pocket, he owns the right to the masters. So now for the composition side, it's already tried law and it's already straightforward. The owner of the beat belongs to Terra Boy, which is different from the owner of the masters. The owner of the lyrics belongs to Joe Boy. So Joe Boy and Dera Boy, if there are no any other co-contributors or any other contributors to the Empty My Pocket song, they are both co-owners or joint owners of the Empty My Pocket song on the composition side, not the master side. So I think that's a set. Now to the second issue of dissemination, RIMAS Entertainment seek proper license for the use of the sample. This depends on whether the sample used was a sample on interpolation. I listened to the Bad Bunny song, the subject matter of the copyright infringement, and I actually heard Joe Boy's vocals used. I actually had like they lifted a part of the I couldn't access Empty My Pocket because according to reports there's been a ownership dispute over the Empty My Pocket. So like you said, Entertainment and EMPAWA having the ownership dispute over that particular Empty My Pocket song. So it has been brought down on all streaming platforms. So didn't have a chance to listen to Empty My Pocket. So for Empty My Pocket, did RIMAS Entertainment seek proper clearance? So for the Bad Bunny song that I can't pronounce its name, I actually heard Joe Boy's vocals, I actually heard the beats and all and that is a sample, not an interpolation. If it was a thing that Bad Bunny resung Joe Boy's part or we did or remix the beats of the Empty My Pocket, they will say that that's an interpolation. But from what I heard from the Bad Bunny song, it was actually a proper sample. So when you want to use a sample, not an interpolation, when you want to use a sample, you have to clear with the master's owner and the composition owners. And again, according to reports, it seems RIMAS Entertainment only cleared the masters with Lakiso Entertainment. We are not sure if they cleared the composition side with Lakiso Entertainment. The fact that you are the owner of the masters to a song does not give you the right to say you want to clear the composition if you are not the owner of the composition as well. So if Lakiso is the owner of the masters, they are well within their right to clear the use of the masters to Empty My Pocket. But if they are not the composition owner, they don't have such rights to clear it. I to give RIMAS Entertainment the benefit of doubt that they didn't clear both the masters and composition with Lakiso Entertainment. But let's go on. RIMAS Entertainment is claiming that, oh, they got a license from Lakiso Entertainment because they checked around, they did their research, and they saw that Lakiso Entertainment is claiming rights to that Empty My Pocket, and they felt like, okay, they are the owner of the masters, and they cleared directly with Lakiso Entertainment. But that's just on the masters. Have they cleared the composition? Have they cleared with the composition owner? Mind you, in the first issue of determination, I told you guys that Joe Boy and Dera Boy are both co-owners and joint owners to the composition part of Empty My Pocket. So have they cleared with Dera Boy? If they've not cleared with Dera Boy, they are still in infringement. If Lakiso Entertainment is not the real copyright owner of the masters, they are still in infringement. And that's why I said I do not agree to Bad Bunny's lawyer saying the case lacks merit, because once again, EMPAWA, Dera Boy, Joe Boy, they have a very, very, very good case. So the next issue of determination is if Lakiso as a distributor can issue a proper license for use of the sample. This is questionable because as a lawyer, I review so many agreements, and in some distribution agreements, I see that distribution is asking the artist for the right to issue master's use license. Yes, master's use license. So they're not going to be issuing the license as the owner of the masters. They're going to be issuing the license as maybe a licensing agent. I'll call it a licensing agent or a licensing company. So they don't have the same rights as, say, the owner of the masters would have to the empty my pocket. That is if they are just a distributor and not the masters owner. But if they're the masters owner, of course, they are able to issue that license effortlessly, with no issues. Lakizo Entertainment's right to issue that license as distributor depends on whether in the distribution agreement between Lakizo Entertainment and Joe Boy gave them the right to issue masters use licenses for the use of the masters to third parties. So that will say we are valid. And even as at then, they'll just get maybe like a commission from 20% from maybe 10 to 20% normal distribution fees from the money Bad Bunny and Rimas Entertainment pays them for the use of that song, and they are expected to like remit the rest to Joe Boy or Empower. Once again, this totally depends on whatever relationship Joe Boy has with Lakizo Entertainment before or after he signed the agreement with Empower. In my own opinion, I'm not saying this now happened. The fourth issue of dissemination, Rimas Entertainment liability, if any. From what I've read and from the report, it seems they are yet to clear the composition parts of the sample, because they used the sample, not an interpolation. So even though they are rejoicing that, oh, the case has been dismissed, they still have a liability on the composition rights, and I will advise they act fast and fast enough. You get what I mean? And they also have a liability if they can, if Empower can eventually prove that Lakizo Entertainment doesn't own the masters to the empty my pockets. So so I won't really say this is an issue of dissemination, but just a concluding part. Alternative ways to resolve the issue without going to court. See, the best and the easiest alternative way to set a copyright infringement clause is to do a DMCA takedown. Rather than Boy going to court straight, this would have been a simpler and way better method to solve this issue once and for all. Just go on Spotify, report the song for copyright infringement, and tell Spotify to bring it down. Maybe 3 weeks later, when Bad Bunny and Rimas Entertainment are trying to be like, oh, what's going on? Maybe 5 days later, it goes to Apple Music, does the same. 2 weeks later, it goes just try to be causing trouble here and there to make sure Rimas Entertainment is on their toes. So all these negotiations, Empower, Mr. Easy, and Rimas Entertainment were doing for so long, and were saying they are trying to. All these things are not necessary. Just go on Spotify, just go on Apple Music. They didn't get a license from you, Boy. They didn't pay you for the use of that sample. So just go on Spotify and Apple and bring down the song. There was no need filing a suit in the US, because that would have been a better dispute resolution process for Boy. So for Empower Joe Boy, I don't think this would work, because Lakizo Entertainment, we don't really know if Lakizo Entertainment are the real masters owners or not, depending on the case. But for Boy, that would have been a better disposition, because now Boy is in Lagos. He has to suit an action in the US. So does he have money? Does he have the visa to start going to the US to answer to his claim and all that? No. According to reports, I heard that his lawyers had to pull out of the case due to irreparable differences on strategies, and after that the court had to ask Empower to provide evidence that they own the Empty My Pocket song and all that. So all these things, rather than just going through all this, there are better ways to solve copyright infringement cases that would even though the money you may get from this kind of method might not be as much as when you go to court and you're asking for $25 million damages for copyright infringement. But at least if you ask for $1 million infringement, rather than by going through this route, it's still something than the court now asking you to pay the people you took to court $456,000 in legal costs. So not only did you lose on legal costs to your lawyers, you're also losing money to the other people's lawyers for failure to prosecute the claim. So apart from, so yeah, I think I've talked about the Bad Bunny. So how the old table turned around and now became a case between Bad Bunny against Empower. Bad Bunny, RIMAS Entertainment asking for Empower to pay the $456,000 legal fees they spent on defending their case in that court. So once again, my little experience from litigation from 8 years back, yes, it's totally normal for a defendant to ask the court, to pray to the court, to ask the claimant to pay for the legal fees they incurred in defending themselves, especially when they feel like the case brought by the plaintiff was frivolous and it didn't make sense. And Bad Bunny's lawyer are saying that this case they are bringing to court did not make sense. And you guys wasted the time of the court, you wasted our time, we wasted money on legal fees. So you guys as the instigator have to pay for the legal fees. So it's totally normal. It is normal. But once again, I do not agree with Bad Bunny's lawyer saying that the case was meritless. There is a lot of merit in that case. Boy has a very, very, very good case. A very, very good case that might not even require him going to file an action in the US courts. JOEBOY, Lakizo, Empower, I don't know if they have a very good case because I don't know who is telling the truth or not telling the truth. The moral lesson from this whole case is to make sure that as a creative, you need to understand the documentation is very, very important. So under the copyright laws, under the Nigerian copyright laws, copyright protection is automatic. If you as much as write your lyrics on the notes app on your phone, you already have copyright over that lyrics. So you don't need extra documentation to claim you own the you own the right to that lyrics. If you as much as record a song and put it on a flash drive, you own the right to that song in the flash drive. Copyright protection is automatic. For me, if I can see that there can be an impending litigation coming up, I feel like I sense trouble might come up in the future. Even though copyright protection is automatic, you don't need to do anything extra to claim you own that copyright. I've always advised my client that, okay, please let us register this copyright to the Nigerian Copyright Commission, so in case anything happens in future, we can always present this as an evidence that we own this masters. But 2019, the music business was not as is not as serious as it is now in 2026. So there's no way JOEBOY, like his entertainment, there's no way Empower would even want to, like, oh, they need to do, you understand my point. So this is why as an artist, you need a legal team, a solid legal team behind you that will advise you well on how to protect your assets, that it won't even get to a point whereby you have to go to court or a federal court or a federal high court in the US to institute an action, because it's waste of money. Do you have flight tickets to be going to and fro? So rather than getting to the effect of not protecting your rights, you rather get a legal team that would help you to protect your right, that we even have to lead to any court case in the first place. Your trademark too, you have an artist name, trademark your artist name, you have copyright to your song, do the extra step, go to the NCC and copyright your song. You recorded a song with a producer, this that you collaborated with someone to release an EP or a song, do a collaboration agreement, do a producer agreement, split sheets, who owns what, which revenue is this person getting. Documentation is very, 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 very important. It will save you in the time, it will save you, because the only reason why Empower, I feel like Empower is in this mess, because they didn't have documentation to claim they own this empty my pockets. And at the same time, they can always prove from the agreement they have with JOEBOY that, oh, even though we don't have documentation to show that we don't empty my pocket, but we have an agreement with JOEBOY that says every record every masters they record or release during the time of this agreement belongs to us. So all these things, there are so many ways to go around copyright infringement cases that would actually help you, assist you in winning the case. I hope you guys have learned so much, because this is free legal advice I'm not supposed to be giving. But pay me back for this free legal advice or strategy by following me on Instagram, Janet underscore Duoye, LinkedIn, Janet Oduoye. Follow me on, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Janet Oduoye. Like, share, comment on this video if you find it very, very helpful and all that. That's the only way you can pay me back. Till I see you guys next time again. Bye, guys.